Goal setting is both an art and a science. We all have a lot of ideas about what we want to achieve, but turning those ambitions into reality requires a lot of structure, focus, and most importantly, a plan. And the good news is that digital tools can simplify this process, helping you set realistic goals and stay on track with those goals. Today, I want to break down how to set your own goals for 2025 using some of my favorite digital tools, including AccuFlow, Notion, and mind mapping apps. We'll go through the steps of brainstorming, organizing, and executing your goals so you can set yourself up for success. How to brainstorm your goals. Every great project starts with a solid brainstorming session. But brainstorming can feel very overwhelming, so I like to ultra simplify this process by using something called the 5 Whys framework. This is a super simple way of understanding whether a goal aligns with your values or not. It works by repeatedly asking why until you reach the core reason behind your goal. So here's how it works. First of all, you start with a broad goal. For instance, I want to finish a book. Ask why that goal is important to you. Why do I want to finish my book? Answer, perhaps because I want to share my story with the world. Then you ask yourself, why do I want to share my story with the world? Perhaps because you want to teach people something. And then you repeat the process 4 more times, drilling down into deeper motivations with each why. And this method is what helps you clarify the real reason behind your goal that makes it more meaningful and more motivating. Without this intrinsic motivation, you will not be able to achieve your goal, or at least you will not be able to achieve your goal in a way that makes sense to you. Once you have a clear understanding of why you want to achieve your goal, it becomes easier to plan the how. Your goals will have more substance and you'll be more committed to achieving them. For more complex projects, a single brainstorming session may not be enough. So when goals involve multiple components, like writing a book, launching a product, or developing a marketing campaign, it's easy to get lost in the details, and this is where mind mapping tools come in. So mind mapping, as you know, is a visual technique that helps you organize ideas, break down complex goals, and understand various elements of a project. You have a lot of different mind mapping tools. You also have things like Roam Research and Obsidian that allow you to connect ideas in a very structured way. So it really does not matter what specifically you're using to do this, but this is a perfect second step to achieve and set your goals. Let's say your goal is writing a new book. Here's how you can break it down into a mind mapping tool. Branch 1, brainstorming genre and age brackets. You have to understand what are the pillars in your plot. You have to understand what are the themes and topics your book revolves around. Then in a second branch, you may try to understand what kind of world building you want to build around your book, what kind of characters your book needs, how many characters your book needs, and what kind of emotions and messages your characters need to portray. Branch 3, you may start to think about the plot. How is the plot going to serve your characters? Or how are your characters going to serve your plot? And really try to brainstorm key scenes or key moments you want your book to have. And just kind of brain dump all of your ideas into this mind map in the beginning. It doesn't have to make sense. Things do not have to connect properly. And sometimes the most interesting and fun concepts are born like this. This approach will provide a big picture view of your project, making it so easy to break it down into actionable steps. Each part of your mind map will become a smaller goal. So for instance, when you're brainstorming your characters, probably you will need character sheets where you'll specify what are the physical traits of your characters, what is their background story, what are their weaknesses, their strengths, and so on. Then you can use Notion to organize your goals in a free-form format. Once you've brainstormed and mapped out your ideas, the next step is to organize them. One of the best tools for this is Notion, and this is a flexible workspace that allows you to structure information in a way that suits you, whether that's in the form of lists, tables, calendars, boards, whatever it takes. Once you've broken down the project into its key parts using a mind map, you can use Notion to build your project plan around this. So when we're talking about a book, this can be pretty simple. When you're project planning a book, you can go in a very structured way where you basically break down your timeline into chunks and then decide, for instance, how many chapters you are going to write in those chunks of time. Or you can go in a different approach and basically tell yourself you want to write, for instance, an X amount of words per day or an X amount of pages. Or you want to sit at your computer writing for an X amount of time. There is no right way to do this. What matters is that you're putting everything onto a timeline. If you're still working on the skeleton of your book, this may be a bit easier to organize. So for instance, you may give yourself 2 weeks to decide what your characters are going to be like. You may give yourself 1 month and a half to properly outline the full story, the full plot. You may give yourself a month to do some research, or 2 months in case your story, for instance, has some sort of historical aspect to it. Notion's versatility allows you to adapt your workspace as the project progresses. You can even add checkboxes, reminders, embed calendars to track deadlines and milestones. And the real beauty of it is that it allows you to view your project in different ways. And whether that's through a timeline view or a to-do list, it all depends on your preference. Then when all of your goals and subtasks are organized in Notion, it's time to bring them into your calendar. So breaking these goals into smaller tasks, scheduling them into your calendar is crucial to make progress. Tools like Google Calendar, Outlook, AccuFlow, Notion calendars itself. Now, Todoist also has a calendar and TickTick also has a calendar. You have so many different tools, but when you use calendar blocking and you assign specific time slots to work on specific tasks, that's when your goals actually happen. Most of these options integrate task lists directly onto your calendar, so before you start time blocking, one of the things you can do is literally drop all of your sub-goals and all the organization process that you carried out in Notion into the task list section of your program before you starting blocking those things out in your calendar. If a task needs more time, you can use the drag and drop interface to adjust your schedule without losing track of any deadlines. Then I really recommend you to use some sort of sprint app for deep work sessions. And this is particularly important with writing because when it comes to achieving goals, especially creative ones, one of the most important things you can do is schedule uninterrupted, focused work periods. And now we're really talking about deep work, like Cal Newport states in his deep work book. Apps that allow you to do deep work, so basically they block out all of your apps, like Forest, for instance, and they help you track focused bursts of productivity that can go between 20 to 50 minutes. They're so perfect to tackle writing projects, for instance, because sometimes all you need to do is sit down at your computer and start writing. It doesn't matter if you're inspired that day. Once you start typing, that's when the inspiration kicks in. Also, sprint apps really help you provide a sense of urgency and structure, and this helps combat procrastination by breaking work into manageable chunks. Plus, they help you track how much time you've spent on each project, which can be a really great motivator as you see progress accumulating over time. And one of the best ways for you to set achievable goals and to calendar block all the tasks you have to do is using AccuFlow. AccuFlow is the ultimate time blocking powerhouse that brings all your tasks into one spot only. If you got a packed schedule and if you're a fan of time blocking, or about to be, this is the app you need to manage your meetings, your tasks, and everything in between. Busy entrepreneurs and top-tier professionals swear by time blocking for a reason. It gives you the big picture and ensures every task gets the time it deserves. Here's the magic of AccuFlow. It pulls tasks from your favorite productivity tools. Think Notion, project managers, email, you name it. It drops them into one clean, organized hub. No more app hopping or digging around for that one forgotten to-do. If you're using Notion, awesome. With AccuFlow, you can zap your tasks straight into your calendar with zero hassle. The drag and drop interface makes rearranging your schedule a breeze. And let's talk about the command bar. It's like having your own assistant. You type a few keywords and boom, your task is ready to roll. But wait, there's my favorite feature, and that's time slots. Think of them as containers for your focused time. If you want to set aside an hour for admin work from 9 to 10 a.m., for instance, you create a time slot and pack it with specific tasks like update website, enter emails, and client follow-ups. It's also a killer way to lock routines into your calendar without overthinking it. If you need to book meetings, Akiflow also has you covered. You can use your calendar to set your availability, send a link, and let others schedule a time that works. No more back and forth emails. If you're juggling tasks across work, school, home, or personal projects, Akiflow is your one-stop shop for making life easier. So to supercharge your productivity, click the link in the description box below and dive in.